Om Namah Shivaya. Last time I were studying with you the introduction to the book, where I'm summarizing all the teachings I give in the book, yes, in 40 stanzas. I was summarizing in the introduction of the book. So I said that, for example, aphorism 19 explained that Trikashaivism has its roots in the 64 Bhairava Tantras, along with Shiva Sutras. The rest of the scriptures are just an expansion of it. So the main scriptures in Trikashaivism, in this philosophy we are studying, are 64 Bhairava Tantras, completely non-dualistic. Shiva, around million years ago, I can calculate, 4 million years ago around, created in the form of Swachandanata, created 92 Bhairava Tantras. 92 Bhairava Tantras. 92 Tantras. 64 Bhairava Tantras, so completely non-dualistic. You are God. 64 scripture, massive scripture. Can you imagine? Massive. Next creates 18 Rudra Tantras, mixture of dualism and non-dualism. So you are God, but at the same time, you are not completely God. So you are one with God, but you are not full God. It's a mixture. And 10 Shiva Tantras, completely dualistic. So you and God are different and separate from each other. So they are different. You know dualism, yes? Dualism is permeating every religion we know in general, yes, Christianity, Muslims, dualism, yes, all the time. God there, you are here. God is in heaven, you are here. All this duality, yes. And well, Trikashaivism is based only in the 64 Bhairava Tantras and not in Rudra Tantras and Shiva Tantras. No, not at all. Anyway, sometimes in Trikashaivism, some authors, some sages mention this, some quotes from these tantras, yeah, dualistic and non-dualistic mixture. But in general, no, they mention only Bhairava Tantra. But sometimes they can mention some Rudra Tantra or Shiva Tantra. I saw this. Bhairava Tantras, I told you, for example, Malini Vijayotara Tantra, with more than 1,000 stanzas. Yes, more than 1,000, I don't know the exact number. But at the beginning was million and million stanzas, was all the time simplified, till now we arrive at 1,000 and so. Swachanda Tantra, more than 3,000 stanzas. It's big. So you calculate that Bhagavad Gita contains 700 stanzas, so more than 3,000 is something. It's like 5 Bhagavad Gitas for you to understand. Monstrosity. Rudrayamala Tantra, big too. Netra Tantra. Oh, you have to Naishwasa Tantra. Okay, a lot of tantras. And Shiva Sutras. Shiva Sutras is another scripture that is very sacred to Trikashaivism. It's a small scripture, very little scripture, 77 aphorisms only. But all these tantras and Shiva Sutras are characterized by one thing. They were not written by human beings. No. So you cannot read at the end of the tantras written by someone. No. Were written by God directly, by Shiva. All the main scriptures are like this. And the rest of the scripture written by human beings are only an expansion of all these tantras and Shiva Sutras. This is in stanza 19. In stanza 20, Trikashaivism affirms that liberation is here and now and not after reaching somewhere of Shiva. This is not dualism, yes, like Christianity, yes, or some dualism with Krishna in Vaishnavism, yes, that they think that Krishna is living in a Vaikuntha world, or Christianity that the Father is living in heaven, and you have to go there to attain a state of liberation or some state of, how we say, bliss, of eternity, etc., etc. No. According to Trikashaivism, all these beliefs are childish. Why? Because God is everywhere. So why to move to attain God? Why you have to move? Yes, no. Why you have to die? No, the God is permeating every second, every minute in time. Why you need some time, yes, to reach there? No, no. You can get it alive, or you can get it after dying, but it's possible even alive. It depends on the kind of liberation. I will explain later all these things. You don't need to wait. You don't need to move. God is right here with you and right now. Simple teaching, yes. This trashes all the teaching from Christianity, Muslim, etc. Yes, about this going to some place or after dying, etc. No, we don't believe in this. Aphorism or stanzas 21 to 23, they are stanzas, not really aphorism, because what's the difference between aphorism and stanzas? A stanza is in meter. In meter, yes, in meter, you write in meter, in verse. And aphorism, they are not in verse. They are only short statements, aphorism. Short statements containing great wisdom. For example, what is an aphorism? For example, the first aphorism in Shiva Sutras, Chaitanya Mahatma. Consciousness in absolute freedom, Chaitanya, is the self, Atma, or true nature of reality. This is an aphorism. So it's a short statement, Chaitanya Mahatma, containing a great meaning inside. Yes, that to how is in Spanish desentrañar, in English to, this word I use all the time, unravel, to unravel or unravel all this meaning contained inside this aphorism. You need to write a lot of comments. It's a long commentary. This is aphorism. So aphorism creates long commentaries. So short statement with great meaning. Stanzas, no. Stanzas are only in verse and not. They don't need to contain great meaning inside. You understand? This is the difference between aphorism. That's why you can write in Sanskrit in three ways. You can write in verse. It's very restrictive when you write in verse because all the time you have to meet the meter requirements. In order to meet the meter requirement, you need to be all the time restricted by the meter, yes, to write something. Another way to write in Sanskrit is in prose. I like prose a lot. And the other way to write teachings in Sanskrit is in aphorisms, in short statements. For example, in the previous book I analyzed, yes, Parabhairava Sanstapana Prachodana, I analyzed before this book. Okay, there is no video. This book was private satsangas. Okay, so in the stanzas 21 to 23, I mentioned the following. There are three means in Trikashaivism: Shambhavopaya, Shaktopaya, and Arnavopaya. In the first one, there is absence of vikalpas, thoughts. In the second one, there is concentration on I consciousness. And in the third one, there is all the rest. So, you are Shiva right here and right now. So why you need to do something? This is the greatest teaching in Trikashaivism. Recognize right now and right here that you are Shiva. And that's it. That's it. You can. You can. Now you tell me, I cannot. Shambhavopaya, the means related to Shambhu, to Shiva. In this means the guru will tell you, okay, stop your mental activity completely, at will. No mantra, no technique, nothing. Stop your mind at will and keep your mind completely blank for so long as you want. This is Shambhavapaya. If the disciple replies, I cannot, so the guru will tell him, okay, concentrate on aham. Aham in Sanskrit is I am. Concentrate in the root of your thoughts. I am, I am, I am. I am Gabriel. I am, I am. I am Argentinian. I am, I am. All the time I am is at the root of all my thoughts. Concentrate on the subject, I, and in the verb, am, I am. Don't pay attention to the rest of the sentence. Concentrate on this. This is Shaktopaya. So the disciple tries to do it, but he cannot again. So he will tell the guru, I cannot. So the guru will tell him, okay, Arnavopaya, the last means. Repeat the mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. Guru Om, etc. Different mantra, yes? In my lineage, we have Om Namah Shivaya and Guru Om. All this will lead you to concentrate on I am. Fully concentration on I am. And from concentration on I am, your mind will stop completely. And when your mind stops completely for some time, you will get liberation and you will realize that you are God. So you can start from the beginning, you are God directly. If you cannot, you dissolve your mind at will. If you cannot, you concentrate on I am. If you cannot, you repeat the mantra. You concentrate on your breathing. You concentrate on a statue outside, whatever mean. Yes, this is Arnavapaya, the last mean. It's the last resource in case you cannot use any other means, higher means. But according to Trikashaivism and according to the greatest Trikashaivism master, Abhinavagupta, you have to start for the highest means all the time. And next you have to descend, if you cannot. Why? Common sense. If you, for example, can realize that you are Shiva like this, without any help, what's the point for you to repeat a mantra? You understand? You save time. For example, you start to meditate. Yeah, you sit for meditation and you start to meditate. And you realize that you are Shiva all of a sudden. You don't need to repeat a mantra. You don't need to concentrate on I am, because you are all the time realizing your godhood, your how is godhood, goddam, whatever. Your state of God. Yes, you don't need to repeat any mantra to concentrate on anything. You repeat mantra, you concentrate on I am when you cannot realize this. Simple truth. You understand? So don't tell me I was realizing that I was Shiva, but I decided to repeat my mantra. No, wrong. The mantra leads to this realization. If you have the realization, don't repeat the mantra. Simple. You have to be practical. So sometimes your mind is completely agitated in you. So you need to repeat the mantra. But if your mind is calm and completely off, don't repeat the mantra. What's the point of create agitation again? This common sense a lot of people don't have. So they have a good state when they start to meditate. For example, the mind is very calm, the breathing is very calm, and they sit with the mantra, with the breathing. Why is it you are already calm? Yes, you repeat mantras and you concentrate on the breathing when you are not calm, when your mind is completely disturbed, yes, agitated. This is common sense. So not all your meditation will contain mantras and concentration on something. No, it depends on your state at that time. If your state is clear, you only meditate on this clearness, on this calmness, on this tranquility in you, this peace in you, and you attain the goal. Understand? Okay, so this means Shambhavapaya, Upaya is means, this method, these means are used despite there is no need for a method, for a means in Trikashaivism, because you are God already. So like my guru used to say, if you understand that you are God, you are God. If you don't understand that you are God anyway. Remember this. You cannot move. You cannot move from your state. Like the witness. This is the witness. You see, you hear, you are the witness. This state of Shiva is in you permanently. You cannot remove. Impossible. It's not related to actions. No, you can do good action, bad action, no relationship. You continue in your state. This means that you have to do bad action? No, I'm only establishing a truth, nothing else. I'm not saying to you that you have to do bad action, but no relationship with the action. So people thinking that the action are coaching them, yes, are catching them, are not catching them, are trapping them, are like, oh, I'm trapped by my action, oh, I'm in bondage because of my actions. No, they're not touching you. You can tell me what you're speaking about, Guruji. When my Acharya told me all this in person, I couldn't understand him too. He told me, Gabriel, you are not touched by your actions, by your thoughts, by your emotion, nothing. You are completely pure. What is that? What is that? Because I'm so imperfect, I told him. I'm so, how is it? Not flawful. I have so many flaws. What is it that I'm completely pure? Yes, I couldn't understand him. Next, I understood him. When I understood him, it's liberation. When you understand this truth. Your real state, your real self, your real soul is completely pure and unaffected by actions. Oh, nothing. That's why when you get liberation, you realize, and this is shocking, that nothing touched Shiva, ever. Nothing. For example, we have this conviction in our lives. For example, I am 58, yes? Not me, I'm not 58. My body is 58 years old, yes? Okay. So I think, oh, I'm 58. I have experience in life, yes? Some young person doesn't have, okay? It's coherent, yes? So my state of Shiva is affected by this experience I had in life, yes, in the past. Oh, yes, I'm different. So when I was 20, I'm different from now, because now I have more experience. But all this is only for Gabriel, not for the self. It's only for ego, for this personality created by Shiva, but not for Shiva. Shiva is never affected. Shiva is all the time young. He's ancient, but young at the same time. He's never old. All I mean disfigurated. Disfigurated, old. No, he doesn't have wrinkles. He's not affected by any action, by any experience. So the surprise to me was that when I realized Shiva at the time of liberation in 2010, I discovered my internal Shiva like always, intact, untouched, untarnished by anything, completely pure. And this in me created an amazement. It's like, oh, this is liberation. When you say, oh, your mouth is like this. Oh, because you cannot believe, yes, that never changed. Nothing changed. Your nature is intact and completely pure, intact. That's why in Spandakarikas, a sacred scripture in Trikashaivism, Spandakarika is not a tantra, it's written by a human being, but anyway, it's very sacred to us. In Spandakarikas, in the first aphorism, he said, In the third aphorism, Vasugupta wrote this. Jagradadi vivede pitadabhine prasarpati nivartate nijannaiva swabhavadupalabdhritaha. He wrote, even in the variety of states such as wakefulness, etc., dreaming and deep sleep, yes, which, the variety of states, is not separate from that spanda, from that Shiva, spanda. The principle of spanda, Shiva, continues to flow. Spanda, Shiva, does not ever depart from its own essential nature as the perceiver or experient, the subject, the perceiver. So this Shiva never departs from his own nature, never changes. So like he's now, he will be forever. So now you don't have liberation, yes? Apparently, okay. So in a few years, when you get liberation, Shiva is the same. When you discover this, you are amazed. Because before you believed, in the past I was ignorant. In the future I will be wise. No. You are the same. This is amazing. Amazing. So you have this state of liberation, this amazement. Okay, we call this amazement in Trikashaivism with the Sanskrit word, chamatkara. Kara means act. Chamat is an interjection. Interjection. You know what is interjection? It's an exclamation of amazement. So in Sanskrit, when you are amazed, for example, in Spanish, when you are amazed, you say, oh, yes. Oh, in Spanish. In English, how you say? Awesome. Oh, sounds like this. Awesome. Oh. In Russian, lady, how you say? Ukhti.
Yes, I say like this.
Well, in Sanskrit, we say chamat. Chamat, 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 chamat. So the act of saying chamat is chamatkara. It's this amazement. Because you all the time says, you are a Sanskrit native, obviously. You say chamat, chamat, chamat. It's like uhti in Russian. Oh, in Spanish and English. Oh, a surprise to realize that your essential nature is completely pure, completely intact, holy, divine. What are you doing now? My God, what a crap. So, in Trikasha, stanzas 24 and 25. In Trikashaivism, liberation is full of consciousness and bliss. After liberation, the great yogi sees the things such as they are. That is like as consciousness and bliss. So after liberation, it's not liberation in Trikashaivism like in other systems. Other philosophical systems, they put that liberation is only a state, internal state of bliss. So for example, you sit for meditation, you attain a state of bliss, internal bliss, and this is liberation. Yes, oh, bliss, oh, bliss. Next, when you open your eyes, and you abandon your lotus posture, bliss stops. According to Trikashaivism, that's not real liberation. That's only a previous stage before liberation. The name of this stage is called Atma Vyapti, or a penetration into the self, inner self, internal. Real liberation is Shiva Vyapti, a penetration into Shiva. So, after attaining this state of bliss inside, you open your eyes and bliss is outside too, everywhere, in all the universe. So you feel bliss even when you watch, I don't know, Robert. I'm joking. When you watch Robert, you feel bliss. So imagine, so it's like this. So everywhere is bliss. We don't believe that liberation is only a state in lotus posture, yes, like this, and with the closed eyes. No, we believe that liberation is even with open eyes. And this is the difference. So you cannot have bliss and to be conscious of this bliss with open eyes in the middle of activities, you are not liberated. According to Trikaya Viz. If your liberation depends only that you have to meditate in lotus posture and for some time you have bliss, so this is not real liberation because it's temporary, it's not permanent. These points I need to be very clear because most people overlook this point. Yes, and next they learn Trika, but it's not real Trika. It's dualistic Trika. They learn some Trika with dualism, so they don't understand real Trika. If you don't understand that you are God, you cannot understand Trika. So all the time when you study Trika, it's about you. It's not about you. What's the point? No point. So when they say ego, it's your ego. When they say, oh, Purusha, the soul inside, it's you, Purusha, the soul inside. When they say Paramashiva, you are Paramashiva. It's all the time about you. If you don't learn how to relate all the teachings to you, you are wasting your time. You are not real. You are not learning real Trikashavis. But some teachers they try not to teach all this like this directly to people. That's why because they think, oh my God, I cannot tell people that they are God directly. What will they think about me? Yes, or something like this. Okay, but they are not real teachers of Trikashavis. They teach only theory, but without real practice. In real practice, you are God. And you are God now and in the future and in the past. You are God, nothing else. It doesn't matter if your ego is bad or good or your actions are bad or good. You are God anyway. This is impossible to remove. Never departs, yes? Never depart from its own nature. Spanda, Shiva never departs from its own nature, like the perceiver. So this perceiver in you continues forever, in pain, in happiness, living, dying, forever. So another teaching I had to tell you, you can never die. You can never die. You're eternal. The body dies, yes, but not you. So why are you so sad? You're not dying. The body will die. But you continue to live because you are life. God is life, cannot die. God doesn't depend on breathing. Shiva doesn't breathe, and he lives anyway. You feel that if you cannot breathe, you die. No, you don't die. The body dies. The body needs oxygen, not you. You can live without breathing. You are life. Well, this is a very important teaching that you have to understand. Finally, stanzas 26 and 27 is a kind of epilogue, kind of a final declaration, a statement. Yes. So, and this is the end of the book written by me through a sincere devotion for Parabhairava. Parabhairava is Paramashiva, the Supreme Shiva, the same, in the form of a short poetry. May all the good spiritual aspirants experience the highest delight. At the end, there is one more stanza that is the concluding stanza. And I wrote in the book, the work called Main Tenets of Trikashaivism is totally finished. I mean, the introduction, obviously. Additionally, after the explanation of the whole scripture, I added the original scripture. So in the book, you will find the original scripture, Trikamukha Matani, without my comments in English, only Sanskrit. In Sanskrit signs, in Devanagari, and in IAS transliteration, International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration, IAS. So all transliterated in the book. Also, I included a complete glossary where I describe the various Sanskrit words occurring in the book. So in the glossary, you find all the important words that you see in the book are explained in the glossary. So you have some doubt in the book with some word, you go to the glossary and check there. The glossary is in the Sanskrit alphabetical order. Sanskrit alphabetical order. So there is an alphabet there near the glossary to help you. For example, in Sanskrit, the vowels come first. For example, a, I, u, a, I, u, dri, a, I, o, ah, a, I, o, ah. Next, the consonant. Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga, ka, ka, ga, ga, nga. Yes, the consonant. Next, cha, cha, ja, ja, nya, cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. Next, ta, ta, da, da, na, ta, ta, da, da, na. Next, the dentals. Ta, ta, da, da, na, ta, ta, da, da, na. Next, the labels. Pa, pa, ba, ba, ma, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Next semivowel, yada, lava, yada, lava. Finally, sibilants and aspirant, aspirate, sonant aspirate. Sha, sha, sa, ha, aspirate. Sha, sha, sa, ha. This is all the Sanskrit alphabet. So in this order, you see the glossary. So you don't know where to find, you check the alphabet at the same time. See the order. Because it's very complicated to put it in the Roman alphabetical order. It's very complicated in Sanskrit to adapt the word, yes, because we have sha, where to put sha in S, it's very complex. So we have sha, where to put sha. I put in Sanskrit alphabetical order. Okay. Likewise, I added a chart elucidating to a certain extent the 36 tattvas or categories of universal manifestation. So we'll analyze the 36 tattvas or categories of universal manifestation. For example, tattva 16, mind. Tattva 15, ego. Tattva 14, intellect. Right? There is a chart with all the categories. Tattva 1, Shiva. Tattva 2, Shakti, the power of Shiva. Tattva 3, Sadashiva, the will of Shiva, etc., etc. So you have a chart there with all the tattvas explained in a summarized way, obviously, very short. There is also extra information about the Sanskrit alphabet and its pronunciation. And you have on the website the sounds you can download, not download, you directly press press the triangle there, like to play back the sound, yes. So, for example, you get the sound of e, all the sounds. On the website you have available on the Sanskrit section. Okay, my goal is always to elevate so many people as possible. They do not need to live in bondage. There is no organic reason for that. So you don't need to live like an ignorant. There is no organic reason. You don't have an organ in you called ignorance. Yes, for example, oh my God, if I don't have this organ, I die. No, it's not organic. It's only mental. All the happiness they are trying to get from outside is right inside their hearts. Trikashaivism is the key to open this great treasure of the heart. By the heart, I don't mean the organ heart, yes? Not even the Anahata chakra located in the heart. No, I don't mean that. I mean consciousness in you, the perceiver in you, the witness in you, the self in you. This is the heart in Trikashaivism. So when we speak in Trikashaivism about the heart, we are not speaking about the physical organ. We are not speaking even about the Anahata chakra. Yes, so they say chakra, but it's not chakra, it's chakra. This power center, yes, located here, Anahata chakra. No, we are speaking about consciousness. And this consciousness is like a heart, yes, all the time. I am, beating like this, like a heart. I am, I am, I am. I exist, I exist, I am, I am. It's a fact. All the time is doing this. Nobody can stop consciousness from doing this. Consequently, this small book is always for the welfare of all those people who want to leave their limitations behind and embrace real freedom. Iti Shivam, may there be welfare for all, because Shiva in neuter gender, like Shivam, neuter gender means welfare. So may there be welfare for all. This is Iti Shivam is very usual in authors in Trikashaivism. They write at the end Iti Shivam. This is like it's some auspicious way of finishing a book. Okay. Now we can start with the book. Main tenets of Trikashaivism, Trikamukya Matani. Mata means tenets or principles. Why I didn't put main principles of Trikashaivism? Because I have another book, Paravairava Yoga Sanstapana Prachona, with the name Foundational Principles of Trikashaivism. So in order not to repeat the word principles again, I use tenets in English. In Spanish, it's the same principles. We don't have a translation for tenets. We say principles again, principios. Okay. First, we have Satya Mandira Dwadashaka. Dwadasha is 12, the number 12. Dwadasha. Dasha is 10. Dwa is 2. 2, 10, 12. Yes, 2 plus 10, 12. The final can means containing. Containing 12. 12 got, 12 what? 12 stanzas. So in the introduction of the scriptures, I wrote a little poetry containing 12 stanzas. 12 stanzas about what? About Satya Mandira, about the temple Mandira of truth. Satya, not Satya, Satya. Bad pronunciation, Satya. All the time they call this sage, yes, this guru, you know, Satya Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba. It's Satya Sai Baba. Satya Sai Baba. Satya Sai Baba. This is the real way to pronounce. Okay, but you know, in this word, Sanskrit is pronounced horribly, so it's disaster. So in general, you will hear chakra instead of chakra. You will hear asana instead of asana, yes, postures in Hatha Yoga. You hear Hatha Yoga, and it's not Hatha Yoga, it's Hatha Yoga, ta, with the tongue curling up a little bit like this. Hatha Yoga. You hear horrible translation all the time. Mantra is okay, mantra. Shakti is okay, the accentuation. Shakti or Shakti. But Shiva, no, it's Shiva, not Shiva. There is no Shiva. It's Shiva. So you don't know how to call the name or to pronounce the name of your God. So what is this? You are learning Trikashaivism and you're pronouncing Shiva. No, Shiva. Not Trika, Trika. Not Trika, like some teachers pronounce. Trika. Trika. Please, yes. It's like pronouncing in English, I don't know. Apparently, in Sanskrit, one say, oh, well, what's the point? Shiva or Shiva is the same. No, it's not the same. It's like you pronounce, I don't know in English. For example, integral. You pronounce integral. Yes, it's bad. Integral. Why integral or integral? No, integral. Or pronunciation. No, pronunciation. No, it's not pronunciation, it's pronunciation. So, well, it's something like this. In Sanskrit, it sounds very bad when you pronounce bad Sanskrit. So it's Shiva, Shakti or Shakti. You can pronounce both ways, Shakti or Shakti. Okay, chakra. Okay, so in these 12 stanzas, written in Arya and Arya Giti meters, I wrote these 12 stanzas like an introduction to the main scriptures. So I compare Trikashaivism with the Temple of Truth. What is this? You will see now. But before, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm returning soon.
Ivan, I want to ask you, you told that soon you will move to Quebec.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Will you work there, or you
Sorry?
want to live there forever or for some time?
I don't know. I don't know really. It depends on circumstances.
You have a work there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's I don't have a permanent contract, so it really depends on how it will go in Quebec.
Do you have visa? Because now it's incredible to have visa to Canada. Is for Russian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was lucky to get the visa like at the beginning of March, and I got a really long visa, so I'm just very lucky in this.
When will you go?
I don't have a date yet, but somewhere about mid or the end of July.
Okay.
Okay, I'm here. Yes, you are moving to Canada. How is in English, Canada or Canada?
Canada, I think.
Canada.
But
in
I
Spanish,
suppose
Canada.
I
So
suppose
you have to
Quebecois Canada too.
yes, you have to pronounce in every language in the right way. If you go to Spanish and you pronounce Canada, people will say, "Oh, this is a foreigner," because it's Canada. And if you go to USA and you pronounce Canada, they will tell you, "Oh, you're a foreigner," because well, in Sanskrit it's the same. You pronounce bad, sounds bad to my ears or to the ears of some scholar. Yes, no, what is Shiva? No, Shiva, no, Shiva. It's like, is Biden the president of USA or Biden? No, Biden, no, Biden. Biden. Hey, Biden. So it's ridiculous. Well, it's the same. Well, most people in this world are chanting, for example, not in Sanskrit. They are chanting in some language they invented. It's a disaster, the pronunciation. So it's most of the time. And the transliteration is horrible too, terrible. It's so terrible, Sanskrit in all yoga communities in general, that scholars stop correcting it because it's useless to correct all this. It's so massive that to correct all this is never-ending activity because it's all the time a mistake, all the time a mistake. Okay, so the scholars are silent. So you can continue to repeat Shiva forever and all this, yes, but what to do? There is a moment when you say, okay. Even they pronounce bad Om Namah Shivaya. They pronounce Om Namah Shivaya. And it's not Om Namah Shivaya, it's Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya, no Nama. Namah or Nama. It's all that it cannot pronounce well the mantra, the main mantra for liberation. So imagine what is this? Well, but it's like this. It's the world we're living in. It's this kind of world. So imperfect, so stupid. Okay. First stanza. Paramashivasya swatantriya bhavita strika mukhya matani kalu. tum aham pravartate nischalaya sarvesha bhaktya. Inspired by the absolute freedom, the swatantriya, the absolute freedom of Paramashiva. When you attain liberation in Trikashya vision, it's because you attain his absolute freedom. When you attain his absolute freedom, this is liberation. So inspired by the absolute freedom of Paramashiva, Parabhairava, the Supreme Shiva, I proceed to write the main tenets of Trikashya vision with unshakable devotion for the Lord of all. So in my first stanza, I have to be firm in my effort, or I abandon, because it's so crazy to write all this with meter, you cannot imagine. So if I'm not strong in my faith in myself, I abandon the task, yes, because it's so difficult to write in Sanskrit with meter. So I said with firmness, yes, resolute completely, I proceed to write the main tenets of Trikashya vision with unshakable devotion for the Lord of all. And this devotion will permit me to write in this difficult language and in verse, so meeting the meter's requirement. Explanation. I will read now from the book. It's impossible to write something meaningful about Trikashya vision, the great philosophy of northern India, without being inspired by his irresistible swatantriya, absolute freedom. How to write about escaping from overwhelming bondage without the help of Paramashiva's independence? It would be a contradiction itself, and something impossible too, like going to catch the wind with one's own hands. What knowledge does a human being possess that can be called his? All his knowledge is originated from a spark of awesome Shakti, his power, which lives in the minds of all the beings. So the little spark of Shakti is enough to create all knowledge in this world. Because all knowledge in this world comes from the minds of people. And in the minds of people, there is this spark of Shakti. So in this spark of Shakti, there is all knowledge possible to humankind. So you live all the time like this, with the grace of Paramashiva, without the grace of Paramashiva, or not without the grace, with less grace of Paramashiva, with more grace of Paramashiva, with less grace of Paramashiva. So you are more conscious, because Paramashiva says up, up. So you are more conscious of Paramashiva, that you are him, and you are less conscious, more mechanical. This is your whole day. You notice that most of the time during the day you are saying nonsenses. You notice this? Nonsenses to people. What is this? It's because you have less grace. You are sleeping in ignorance. If you are conscious, you don't say those nonsenses. You are more conscious. Yes, someone can speak with you because you are conscious. But most of the time you are sleeping again in ignorance. Yes, you speak, but you don't speak. It is spoken in you. You don't feel, I speak. Aham, with the self mounted there, yes, completely established there. No. Words are spoken in you, mechanically. Like this, blah, 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 chit chat. Most of the time it's like this. So you say, I love you, I hate you, all the time like this, yes, but it's no sense, no power, because you are not conscious, less grace. But when you are conscious, your words are meaningful, make sense. Your speech makes sense. So this is your whole day. My goal is to elevate you. So my goal is to increase the time with you up, not down. So there is no good or bad in this world, because all is Him. Anyway, during discipleship, during your spiritual path till you get liberation, you will have to follow this rule. There is no good or bad in Shiva because all is Him. Anyway, during your spiritual path, you have to follow this simple rule. Good is all the things elevating me to be more conscious. Aham. I speak. I see. I hear. I taste. Yes, you are conscious of your eye, in all the experiences. And bad is all the things pulling me down. Yes, making me go down. This is bad for you. Is absolute good and bad? No. It's relative good and bad. It's good for you or bad for you in a spiritual path. You are not in a spiritual path? No, there is no good and bad like this. Because they don't care about it to be elevated all the time. They don't care. Yes, people don't care. They only want, what do they want in general? Good salary, money, to have a peaceful life and happy life, nothing else. They don't care about to attain the state of Shiva. Yes, most people are like this. Very simple. Even you can get a scientist with a strong intellect. But when you start to interview these scientists about the mysteries of life, for example, you can tell him, and what's your thought about death? What's your thought about God? And you will notice that the scientist is completely stupid. Even the greatest scientist, completely stupid. You see, what is this? Such a shallow guy, very shallow, the mind. It's not deep. But he knows a lot about numbers, mathematics, and the rare sciences. So it's not a warranty to be a scientist that you are intelligent about spirituality. At the same time, you can be a mason, a simple mason, putting layers of brick and mortar, yes? And you are intelligent to perceive the mysteries in life, death, God, yes? You perceive life, and you are intelligent. So to know a lot about this world doesn't mean that you are intelligent from a spiritual viewpoint. No, no. Try to ask people around you about the mysteries of life, and you will see their replies, their answers. Very simplistic. For example, God exists? Yes, exists. You believe? Yes, I believe. But they don't have a deep thought about God. Oh, I don't believe. God doesn't exist. But this is impossible. Why is impossible? Look at this. People says, God doesn't exist. So I reply, it's impossible. They say, prove. So most people, in order to prove the existence of God, will say, but look at life around you. Someone created all these animals. These human beings, some intelligence is behind creating human beings and animals and flowers and insects, etc., and stars and galaxies. But the atheists will say, no, I don't believe there is a God. I don't believe there is no God. All is a coincidence. All is a coincidence. Okay, all is a coincidence. So the person cannot prove because this is not the real way to prove. The real way to prove is, okay, who are you? From where you came here? This is the way to prove the existence of God. So if the person says, I came from some place and I exist now here. From where I came, I don't know. Well, this I don't know is God. If the atheist says, I came from myself, so you are God. But nobody can escape from God. Because God is the cornerstone of all existence. So you have to prove your existence. How to prove your existence? It's very difficult to prove your existence without God. If you say, I came from myself, you are God. I came from some intelligence, this is God. I came from nothing, no. Nothing doesn't exist. What is this? Yes, because if you speak about nothing, so it's not nothing, because you are there speaking about it. Real nothing is full nothing. If you're speaking about nothing, so it's not real nothing, because you are there speaking about it. It's like saying, it's like opening the door in a room and you say, there is nobody here. Yes, nobody except you. So you say, I come from nothing. So yes, there is nothing except you. So it's not real nothing. Real nothing doesn't exist. Real void, like Buddhists proclaim, doesn't exist. So what is this nothing? It's God again. So you cannot escape from God. Now you can tell me, I don't believe in the God of the religions. This is different. This is different. So you are not atheist. You don't believe in the God as postulated by religions. For example, a God with a long beard, good guy, like a father. You don't believe in this God? Okay, I agree with you. But you cannot escape from God like the highest reality. Impossible. Because you have to prove your existence. So in order to tackle, you know what is to tackle? In order to tackle, like the football players, when some player advances, the other player tackle, stop him somehow, yes, tackle. In order to tackle atheists, you have to tell him, from where are you coming? Where are you coming from? How do you exist? So the atheists will be at that time trapped by your reasoning and cannot escape. Because most people are atheists in this world because there is nobody proving them wrong, nothing else. Because like me, I never take the trouble to do it. I have atheists around me sometimes, yes, but I never take the trouble to do it because really, I don't care. Okay, you're atheist, okay, continue to be atheist, I don't care. But if I care, I put them on the ropes, yes, like this. Where are you coming from? Prove your existence. Without God. It's impossible to prove without God. There is something, and this something is God. It's you, it's something else, whatever you want, but this God. There is an intelligence. It's obvious that there is some intelligence. For example, my pancreas now is working, yes, and I have no idea about what the pancreas is doing, yes. There is some intelligence controlling the body, yes. It's obvious, yes. It's obvious, yes. I had some analysis a few days ago, yes, and they told me, oh, sugar is okay in your blood, yes. No idea. What's the content of sugar in my blood? Do you have an idea now, without any device, that how many milligrams of sugar you have in your blood? No idea. No idea. Except you have a device to measure, yes, but no idea. So all is controlling your body automatically by an intelligence. This intelligence is God, obviously. It's the power of God. So it's obvious. It's so obvious. Animals are breathing, yes, by themselves, by some intelligence, by some spark of his power in them. And they live. It's a miracle. So it's impossible to deny God. It's stupid. How to deny God? Now we can discuss about different descriptions of God. Yes, we can discuss about that, but we cannot discuss about the existence of God because he's purva siddha. He's proved in the first place. If he's not proof in the self place, we cannot prove anything else. Because the one proving disappears. For example, I went out to prove something, but first you need to exist. If you don't exist, you cannot go out to prove something, yes? Oh, I will prove, for example, that the dinosaur exists in the past. Okay, to prove this, first you need to exist yourself. So you have to be proof yourself first. And you say, yes, I exist, I know, but it's not so simple. You exist, but it's not so simple that you exist. You exist because he exists. You borrow from him, I am. You borrow, I am from him. I am, all the time. He lent you, I am. So you use this I am and you exist. It's very simple, but very mysterious. You realize that every movement you do, I am is all the time automatic in you. You never discuss about I am. You say, I will prove the existence of aliens. Okay, but you exist. Yeah, I exist, obviously. But you never ponder over how mysterious is your existence. It's mysterious. I exist. And you exist, and you never feel that you didn't exist before. You can say, oh, before my birth, I existed too. I don't know how, but I existed. And after my death, I will exist too. I don't know how. In another body, in heaven, in hell, I don't know, but I will exist. Because this existence is in you is eternal, and it's automatic and natural. That's why people never pay attention to existence. Okay, for today is enough. Next satsanga will continue with this aphorism, yes, of the Satya Mandira about the Temple of Truth, about the Kasha Abyss. Okay. Om Namah Shivaya.